Okay, so welcome. Thanks for joining us this Thursday afternoon. We're so happy you can be with us. And we're going to be talking about boosting engagement for early literacy with our 3D augmented reality animals. And we're going to learn a few other things too that you can take away for your classrooms. I'm Cynthia. I'm the CEO and Chief Zookeeper of Live Studios. And my co-host is Stacy DeWord. She's also part of the zoo crew. So there's Stacy looking at something. Hey, Stace. So some housekeeping. You can chat. Hopefully you can hear us. If there's any technical issues, chat. We've got a team, other zoo crew members that are monitoring that. And any feedback, comments, questions, please chat them in and the team will respond as quick as they can. So this webinar is 45 minutes. And for those that are going to stay with us through the whole time, which I hope you do, we're giving away a rug that will come alive. Yes, our zoo animals will come alive right off the rug. You're going to see a demonstration of that near the end. And so if you stay with us the whole time, some lucky person is going to win that rug and for your classroom or for your school. So I'll tell you more about that at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. So as we're going through this webinar together, think about maybe some of the things that you might be struggling with your kids. Maybe there's some gaps in your current curriculum with the kids. And when we go through this, and we're going to be talking about brain science and some of the things that we're doing, see if there might be a fit, how there could be a way that we can help fill your gaps. So with that, I'm going to start with a little story and why and who is Alive Studios and why do we do what we do. And it starts with my kids. I have 4 children. I birthed my 2 girls and we adopted our 2 boys here when they were 6 and 7 years old from an orphanage in Latvia, which is near Russia. And when we adopted them and brought them home to Atlanta, teaching them to speak English wasn't too bad. But teaching them to read English was such a challenge. I mean, we tried private school and public school. I thought, well, how hard can this be? I have an elementary ed background. I'll just get my interactive whiteboard and get the latest, software package out there. And I started doing that with the boys, and we mainly cried because nothing was engaging in them, and they're getting older and older. And I thought, oh boy, God, what am I going to do to engage my boys? And they had a pretty traumatic past too, to keep in mind. They're 0 to 5, and we know how important it is for kids to have a good start. So when I had this problem, I was letting my folks, I had another company earlier, and I said, guys, I've got this problem with my kids. Does anybody have any solutions to help them learn to read? Well, I had a young guy in customer care come up and goes, hey, Cynthia, I want to show you something really cool. And there was a document camera and a white piece of paper with a square on it. And he slid it underneath the camera, and the Eiffel Tower popped up in 3D on a computer. And I'm like, what is that? And he goes, oh, it's called augmented reality. And he had like kind of long red hair, and it just sounded strange. And now back then, nobody heard of augmented reality. It was strange. But when I saw it, I thought that would be so cool. Maybe that would be like a giraffe or some animals that can pop up to engage kids to learn to read. And when I saw that, I decided to take the risk and start some development with augmented reality zoo animals to teach reading. Now, it's not, so that was my personal challenge, right, to get my boys to read. But when I did some research, I found that it was actually a national crisis, that 35% of our kids, when we test them in 4th grade, are proficient in reading. And it doesn't get better the older they get. And if they even make it to 12th grade, a percentage of them don't. They drop out. And math is not much better. So it was not only a personal challenge that got me started to develop solutions in augmented reality for kids, but it's also a national challenge. So Alive Studios is all about our mission, and our movement is to help shift the nation's report card with our fellow educator friends out there like you. We want to help shift the report card from only 35% of our kids reading proficiently to over 70. And so that's our hashtag, Help Shift Happen. That's our movement. And that's what really motivates me really every single day and has me so excited about doing what we do. So what's our contribution? So our contribution to Help Shift Happen is we bring in this magical zoo-themed learning experience, what we call Classrooms Alive. Now, we're not the only solution. There's, you guys do very creative stuff in the classrooms, but this is just one that we've are real excited about sharing with everybody. And we're gonna unpack that. I'm gonna show you more about that through the webinar. Now, our Classrooms Alive solution, that when we started putting that together, we're like, does this really work? Is this really going to improve the outcomes for our kids to learn to read? And the answer is yes, but it didn't start out that way. In the early days, when we first started, a researcher from the University of West Georgia came to me. She goes, "Hey, Cynthia, this is really cool. Augmented reality, teaching reading. We would love to do a study on it, but I have to tell you that if the results are not good, we still have to post them." So I said, you know what, go ahead and do it, because if it doesn't help people, if it doesn't help our kids, I'm not going to start a company that is not helpful. So it took a while, but the results came out, and we were so excited to see them, and including the researcher. She said she's never seen anything quite like it. 48% increase in letter naming, which was 2 times gain over the kids that didn't have it. And this was a pre-K group for 90 days. And 112% increase in the letter sound fluency, which was a 4 times gain. So I was like, okay, fantastic. And so we launched Alive Studios. And then on the right, you'll see we have a lot of case studies for the classroom, like Mr. Greg out in Tennessee. He has ELL kids. And this is a 4-year case study. So it wasn't a 1-year fluke, 26 days with his kindergarten kids, and a lot of them not speaking English when they came in. Look at the results on their upper and lowercase letters and letter sounds from 46 to 88, and you can read the rest in just 26 days. So we're all fired up because we have the results that it does improve outcomes. So my next question would be, well, then why does this learning experience work so well? What's different about it? Well, it's brain science. So I'm a big fan of Dr. Judy Willis. I've read all of her books, and my colleague and I went to spend a week with her at the University of California, Santa Barbara. And we learned a lot about brain science. And so a lot of the stuff that we develop is through the lens of a neuroscientist like Judy. So the big thing that we learned, well, let me go back to that. Because I love the brain picture. The big thing that we learned is multi-modalities. When the child learns, or even for us for that matter, the different ways you learn creates unique pathways. So when you're visually seeing something, that's one pathway in your mind. If you're speaking, that's another. If you're surprised, that's another pathway. If you're doing something with your hands, different. So there's all these different multiple pathways that are happening in your brain that helps you retain information. So we're going to keep that trend going, and we're going to talk about that through this webinar. Another thing that I learned, and I had a question about, was how does a child's brain learn to read? Well, reading, unlike the spoken language, is not a natural part of human development. When we speak, when we're speaking, there's actually a place in our brain dedicated to processing oral communication. And we learn by watching others and imitating. So that's why it was easy for my boys to learn to speak. And I thought it would be equally as easy to teach them to read. But that's not the case because our brains are not wired that way. There are no regions of the brain dedicated to reading. When you're learning to read, it uses all different parts of your brain. I thought, well, no wonder why the boys struggled to learn how to read. And not only my boys, but children all over our country are struggling to learn how to read. And that's because it needs to be very deliberate. There needs to be a systematic approach to teaching reading. And what I was told with my boys, don't worry, they'll get it through time and through their environment. And honestly, that never happened until we were very deliberate when they got older, which was more challenging, trying to teach them to read you know, 12 and 13. So that's why learning with many modalities is so vital and important. So as we just learned, research shows the more ways something's learned, the more memory pathways are built in our brain. So Classrooms Alive uses 9 different learning modalities. And like I said earlier, we'll unpack how we've put it together. And we'll also talk about how you can use this in your classroom. So these are the 9 we use, but you can easily look at this list and go, oh yeah, I can use music and tactile, but maybe I should add an element of surprise. Maybe I'll dress up like an alligator to teach a certain concept or something for the kids. So again, the more that you can use in your classroom and in your school environment, the better, the more the merrier. So this next video, I'm going to start sharing some videos and what other teachers are doing across the country. This is Greg Smedley. This is the teacher I just showed you that had the 4-year case study. And when you watch this video with Greg and his kids, see what type of modalities he's using with them, and we'll go from there.
We are so fortunate to be partnering with Alive Studios to bring Letters Alive and augmented reality into our classroom. Having the 3D animals and the augmented reality during our ABC boot camp has made ABC boot camp even more engaging and more exciting for my kids.
Yeah.
All right, read the sentence.
The vulture can fly.
I can't tell you how excited they are every day to debate and discuss what the animal might be.
Eagle. No. Vulture. Vulture. No. Vulture.
What is it?
Vulture.
A vulture. So what is our animal?
Vulture.
What sound? And just watching the reactions when that animal pops up on the screen is priceless. You better watch. What is he? What is he? What sound? What sound? You couldn't ask for a better day in kindergarten than when you see those little faces and hear those squeals and giggles when the animal shows up.
Do that again.
Augmented reality, Letters Alive, and Alive Studios really has increased the engagement and excitement that my class and my students have for ABC Boot Camp. What's he doing? Read the sentence. Our beginning of the year data today was amazing. In fact, our class had the highest scores in all of kindergarten. And I give a lot of credit to Letters Alive and augmented reality for engaging my students and getting them excited about learning their letters and sounds.
So I love that video. I never get tired of seeing it. So he was using Letters Alive, and these are the skills that he was teaching. And we're about to show you 5 little mini videos and how we teach these skills deliberately for the kids. And so here are the 5 different videos. And the first one that we're going to show you is Faith, one of our Zoo Crew members. She's going to show you how we introduce letters, letter sounds, and animals to teach this to the kids.
So here are some of our flashcards. So what I'm going to do is take you through a little demo here and show you what they do. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to Sergio Seal, and each one of these letters is associated with an animal, like I said, and each animal has a name. So this is Sergio, and I'll introduce you to him. So I simply put the card under the camera like this, and there's Sergio.
Hey, Sergio.
Sergio, hey, can you do a flip for all of us watching? There's the camera. And there he goes. We like to do this with the kids and ask Sergio to do a flip for them, and he will do it every 10 seconds. Although they may not know that and they think the animals are alive. Let me show you Amos alligator here. And what I'm going to show you here is the different angles of the card. So notice now we're learning about an alligator. I can show his underbelly. Look how slick that is. And his scales. And show your teeth, Amos. See the teeth of the animal. So every card will have an animal, and we can show the different dimensions of each animal. Now I picked A also because A has 2 sounds. So notice here there's buttons on the bottom. We have changed to letter mode. Here the animal sound.
Alligator.
Animal
His
name,
name,
sorry.
yeah.
And you
He's an
see the
alligator.
name, you hear the name, and then you have a visual representation of the animal. Here's the animal sound. And note that every animal that we have, it's the real sound. It's not a synthesized sound, it's the sound that particular animal makes. And we coordinate that with animals make a sound just like letters make a sound. So let me go to letter mode. And this is uppercase and lowercase, and I can toggle back and forth. Here you'll see the letter A, and you'll see it in 3 dimensions as I move the card around, which is really helpful for some children. The letter name,
A.
and here we show the short and the long vowel sound. So here's the short and the long.
A.
Now, based on what you're teaching, some of you may not teach both at the same time, and if not, we are just exposing them to both sounds, and I'll show you why. Here we have the character name.
Amos. Alligator.
And notice here we have the 2 A's, but we have the long A and the short A.
Amos. Alligator.
Right,
Cool.
so even when the kids are calling the animals by their name, they'll be utilizing both sounds. So every vowel and every consonant that has 2 sounds, the name will utilize both. For example, Celine cow, you have the soft C and the hard C.
Oh, okay. Just noticing too, my glasses are, I'm not trying to look cool like Bono, they're transitions. I'm noticing they're dark because of these studio lights. So I had to throw that in. Okay, so that was Faith introducing the letters and sounds. Now she's going to show you the animal habitats, which is, you see the real animal in their real habitat.
Oh, hi there. So if I put this video card down anywhere on the mat, you're going to see a video of that animal in their natural habitat. And I'll put it up a little high right here so I can bring it full screen.
It's like bringing the zoo into your classroom.
And there's the bear. Or what if I put a giraffe down? Here's a video of giraffes in the savannah. And notice in the upper left, we'll tell the name of the animal. Here's a zebra, and this is cute too because of the little baby. And you know how children love little babies. So you have a baby zebra as well. And we have animals that typically kids would not be learning about, like a yak. There's a yak and a narwhal, kangaroo. And here we have that in their natural habitat. There's the yak.
And the nice thing about this is you don't need the internet. All those videos and all the software is loaded right on your computer. And you never have to worry about when you're teaching if the internet goes down. So that's always a nice thing. Now the next thing is Faith's going to show us how she can build thousands of sentences with our 97 Dolch sight words. Now she's only going to build a few just to kind of show you how it works with action words. But again, just kind of imagine you're with your kids, you're sitting on the floor and interacting with the animals through building sentences.
All right, now we're going to build a sentence. And what we're using is the 97 Dolch sight word cards, the pre-K and kindergarten. So here I'll start with the. Now notice here it's a lowercase t. And as soon as I start building the sentence, watch what happens to the lowercase t.
What? There it is, capital T.
Capitalization. And we tell the children this too, and it's an element of surprise. Oh yeah, it turned to a capital. What's that doing? Reinforcing to them that the capitals are the ones that start the sentences.
Can.
And we're gonna put the frog can jump. Now notice here he's jumping, so comprehension's built into the sentence, and we or the children can touch this button.
The frog can jump, period.
And I manually touch the period. So every time they're hearing a sentence, they're also going to hear punctuation. Now here, these buttons, for those of you that do have interactive whiteboards, the kids can come up and touch any one of these buttons. They can also touch anything up here.
The frog can jump, period.
If I give one of the children a card, it's a pre-K sight word card, that child will probably remember that card because they're holding on to it. I've told them this is the word fly, so they're going to remember it because when I call out who has the word fly, they'll come up and put the verb down in the sentence, and they're going to get to see what happens when they put their card down.
All right, let's see.
So who has the word fly?
I have it. Okay,
Okay.
so we'll put it up there.
Now with this, we could also ask a predictive question. Do you think frogs can fly? That way we're
Yeah.
getting everyone involved. Okay, let's see what happens.
Fly.
Can you fly, Frankie?
What? No.
Are you sure?
Frogs
Oh,
can't
please.
fly.
No, so that animal will shake their head. Now, every animal, A through Z, will either shake their head yes or no based on the science here. The frog can fly. No, frogs don't fly. That's science. So he's going to tell us no. So again, they can either touch this read to me button or
Frog
they can
fly,
manually touch it,
period.
right?
What can he
can't
do?
fly. Who's got the swim card?
I got it.
So here again, this child will probably remember swim. That's a sight word Dave just put in their memory because we also deal with all our modalities. They're hearing it, they're seeing it, they're involved in doing something. There's also the element of surprise, which really creates neurological pathways in their brain, which causes long-term retention. Just a little fun fact. Okay, so here's swim.
Swim.
And again, he's swimming. You can bring these animals up close. They can see different dimensions of that animal while they're swimming. So we have that. And do we have anything else?
have-
Eat. Yes.
Ooh, let's see what he eats.
All right, who has eat?
Eat, eat.
What are you eating? I'm gonna push it
It's a
up.
bug.
And I can even feed this animal. Or you can have the children put their hand under here and feed the animals, which is really fun. They'll love it. And so you notice, not only did we hear punctuation with the, we always hear the word period after every sentence.
Frog can eat, period.
But they've just had a science lesson. Frogs swim and they jump. They eat insects. He was just eating a roach, but yes, they eat roaches and insects. And they don't fly. A science lesson.
So, I want to interject a story here because watching this reminded me when Faith and I actually went to visit a preschool center not too long ago, and they pulled 4 rambunctious boys out for misbehavior. And boy, we thought, why don't we have them participate in what we're doing? And so we were building those sentences. They had 4 little chairs and they were sitting there, and the sentence, the frog can jump. Well, the little boys got so excited. I remember the first one, he's like, can I read it? And he stood up and he's like, the frog can jump, period. And you can just see the confidence and that feeling that he read a sentence. And of course, the other 3 little boys, they took their turns and did the same thing. And I tell you, that is so important too. I mean, he's probably went home and said, Mom, I read a sentence today. And, raising my boys, I realized, boy, when they weren't reading, their confidence on themselves was waning. And that's why it's so important that at this young age, let's get this, winning in their lives so that they're confident and they're strong emotionally. It's just so important. So I just want to interject that story. The next thing is we're building sentences with colors and big and little. So let's take a minute to see this. This is pretty fun.
Here is another fun one, and this one is really the element of surprise. I even see the teachers get surprised like that. So I'll show you this. Now for pre-K, here's the bear first. Okay, he's kind of scary sometimes, but he's very cute. See how
Hi, Brody Bear.
He'll startle the children, but that is fun for them because you're getting them engaged and getting them involved. So say for kindergarten, you're teaching about polar bears today, or if it's for pre-K, you're just having them learn their color words. And again, I can take my color words and my adjectives and hand them out to different children. Or if I want to, I can take the whole sentence, the bear is white, and give it to a child and say, here, you make the sentence. I can shuffle the cards up for those that are a little more advanced and have them put the sentence together. That bear is white.
White.
And notice now he changes to white.
Looks like a polar bear.
So any color that I put down or when I call the children up,
Red.
that animal is going to change into that specific
Green.
color. And any animal you put there, when you put the color card down, that animal will change to that color. And here's big. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, so you can really see how interactive and collaborative this is. You're like the chief zookeeper teacher, and you got all your little zookeepers, and then they're really involved and engaged. There's critical thinking going on. They're discussing, they're talking to their friends, you know, who has the right card. So it's a really great experience for the kids.
And here's little. And we have little bear cubs. Now, again, this is that bear is little, period. You'll be hearing that a lot. You can also have a child come up who can change this into a question. So you can have the children come up and they get to be a part of rearranging the sentence and changing it into a question. Is that bear little?
Is that bear little? Question mark.
And you'll hear question mark. Now say for example, or maybe you had the child put it into another statement. You can do that as well. But let's say they built it incorrectly.
Little is.
There. How about that? Now notice the immediate feedback. Here you're seeing there's no punctuation here. And we have to have punctuation for a correct sentence. And the bear is not interacting with the adjective, or as before with the frog, with the verb. Notice he's not little anymore, or he wouldn't be white anymore. And there's no read to me button on the bottom.
So we need to fix it.
Yes. So the kids will notice too, wait, where's the read to me button? So the kids can come up and change it. That bear is little.
Little.
And what do we have? We've got the period and
Period.
he's became little. How's
Yes,
that?
he's little. Awesome. Okay. And so the last of the 5 videos I want to show you with Faith and myself is building words. And you'll be able to build 1,200 words using this section. And this is just a couple of minutes as well.
I'm going to build the word, or the children can build the word, which is very fun for them, the word cat. And now they push them together and it blends the word cat. And of course there you can do cat, bat, mat, sat, etc. You can change these all to uppercase if you'd like. You can hear it spelled to you.
C-A-T.
Or hear it again. And they build it together. So let me take these off. Say I have the at. And what I'm going to take now is some of our blends, rhymes, and digraphs. Now this comes with a whole stack like this big, of blends, rhymes, and digraphs. There's a lot of them. So the kids can build up to, especially for kindergarten, maybe first, they can build up to 900 words using these. So I had my cat here, C-A-T. What I'm going to do is keep the C and take this A-T off, and then I'm going to put the at chunk on there, and then we can go
At.
So let me just make a comment. So I was
Sure.
talking to some teachers and how they use this in center time or even whole group. But if you have the at chunk or AT down there, you can ask the kid, how many words can you build with the at chunk? As you do cat, bat, fat, sat, and then they have a sheet of paper and they can write all these names down, all these new words that they've learned. So it's a great center time activity as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Center is great, whole group is great too, and center they can have 2 kids collaborating. One's blending the word and others writing down the word. And because they have these letters right next to them, they can always put this on their desk and copy that formation. So here I'm going to start with a digraph and put it there.
At. chat,
Okay, that's a word. They can write that down if that's the lesson that you're doing. So we have chat. Let's try this one. Here I have
ing,
push it together.
sting,
Now, how about if they did blended a word incorrectly, for example? So we have
ing,
no highlight and no ding. So, okay, this isn't a word. Let's keep going. The cool thing is, too, even if it is a word they don't know, that's a word, they can write it down. So even if they're words that they don't know, they're seeing the blending that this is a word, they're learning new words. And the fact that they're learning individual phonemic sounds, as you know, is so powerful because it's going to help them to decode the larger words as they're starting their reading.
Okay, so thanks, Faith, for showing us the videos there on Letters Alive and the reading and writing portion. And now I'm going to show you, well, actually, I'm not going to show you. Stacy is going to talk to you about our brand new, which we just completed, I don't know, barely 2 months ago, our Zookeeper lesson plans, which fits in really nice, like hand in glove with our technology and now these lesson plans. So Stacy, go ahead and tell us about it.
Thanks, Cynthia. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the lesson plans. You've seen the technology in action, and now I'm going to show you how you can use these plans to deliver instruction. So we created a full year of supplemental lessons, and they're all aligned to the kindergarten ELA standards, and they can be delivered in whole group instruction, small group instruction, and we also have literacy centers for both. So I just want to touch on what each one of these is. First of all, our lesson plans are in a PDF format, and they're contained within the software. So there aren't any bulky teacher books or teacher guides that you have to find a shelf to put on or lug back and forth home to do your lesson planning. What we did is we made a teacher field guide, and that is a year at a glance, and it has every day's lesson contained within that. So because we're supplemental, teachers can take that guide. It's super quick. We know how busy you are when you're doing your lesson planning. It's quick, convenient. You can look at the year or day at a glance and then pick the lessons that best fit your needs with your students. And then you can go into the software and print out the PDF pages of what you're going to use. Moving on to the next pieces, we've got 6 to 13 weeks. It says 6 weeks here. That's for kindergarten, but if you're pre-K, then you can use our curriculum as well. You just align it to whatever your scope and sequence is for pre-K or even kindergarten, what your school follows. So that's 1 letter, 1 sound, and 1 animal per day. And after boot camp is finished, then we move into our Zookeeper Animal a Week. And that is visiting the animals. You get to revisit the ones they met in the boot camp. And it's 1 animal a week. And they go and learn with them the early literacy skills, and there's also elements of science, as Faith touched in the videos, and also social studies. So boot camp, what will my students learn? The boot camp is the full curriculum for the upper and lowercase letter recognition, letter sounds, beginning sounds. There's handwriting pieces, reading pieces. It's a very robust program for the beginning of school to introduce the letters and sounds. It's 1 letter, 1 sound, 1 animal per day. We included modeling videos of a teacher doing explicit systematic instruction. Teachers love this. They don't have to guess how to do it. So it helps them to be able to follow this program to fidelity. And remember that case study, that 4-year case study you saw in the beginning? They can get similar results if they follow what the modeling videos are showing and they follow the curriculum. The boot camp also contains 12 different literacy centers. And it is also whole group instruction or small group instruction, and then student pieces with the centers. It has 26 letter books and 26 predictable readers, and lots of other activities contained within it.
You know, Stacy, let me add too, a lot of teachers say they love using this for after school or even summer programs as well. So
Yes, that's true. We do have people who use it for that. So then after boot camp is finished, we move to Animal a Week. So the different skills, it's early foundational skills. We have included everything that we could. So you start out with your concepts of print. You visit an animal a week. Each animal, all 26 of them, have a short story. So there are rhyming words, alliteration, sight words, comprehension questions, discussion questions with all of these different stories. And there's a social emotional growth skill connected with each animal. So great opportunities to include all of those things. Phonological awareness, you saw the videos that Faith was showing. You could see all these various elements within that, these bullet points here within that. And we have multiple opportunities for various types of text writing. And we have a map you can see there in one of our circles. There's social studies skills, map skills, geography skills you can include in this. All of this is along with them learning their literacy skills. Yes. So the lesson plans also include literacy centers.
Yeah, we went crazy.
It's a lot of fun. We designed them to make it fun and engaging and exciting for students and for teachers, to help you fill in gaps where your core might be missing something, or just to reinforce and support what you're currently doing in your classroom. So this is Tracy Jackson. It's a real quick video here. She is a pre-K teacher who uses our Zookeeper lesson plans. She had phenomenal results with her pre-K class. And she happened to dive right in, and she did an animal a day with her pre-K. And one of her highlights, they saw 200% growth in their letter sounds from the beginning of the year just to October. So take it away.
Okay.
Hi, so we're here with Tracy Jackson. She's a pre-K teacher in Georgia, and she's been using our new Letters Alive Zookeeper edition and our Letters Alive journals with her students. And I just want to ask you a few questions, because I love your stories. You know, we've been hearing about them. I'm like, let's capture it on video. So tell me, with the live studios, what's been the best, most impactful thing for you? Oh, let's do your students first.
Okay, all right.
Your students.
Well, I'm in love. They're in love. But for my students, this is the first time in 19 years of teaching special education and preschool that I can say that I've had something come about that my kids are hooked. They love. They leave after one lesson and they have something to take home to share with their parents. It's getting them up so that they're up learning, they're hands-on, they're helping me teach the lesson to the other friends. Everybody can be and it's just amazing. Talking about what they're coming home talking about as almost just turned 4-year-olds, they were just 3, they were just in diapers and pull-ups, and they're now talking about letters and the sounds that they make. So
tell us about the little kid. He's just turned 4. How he goes home with Amos.
Yeah, so he goes home. Our first animal that they met after waiting because they watched the map to see where we were going first. He met Amos alligator, and he went home. And the mom came back and said, "I feel really bad because I wasn't teaching him his letters. I didn't think he was capable of learning the letters and the sounds." But he came home and said, "Amos alligator, A starts with A, and it says 2 sounds, A and A." So she was amazed.
Yeah. I just think that's amazing. You got little 4-year-olds who know their letters, upper and lower, and now they even know 2 sounds.
Yes, and they can't wait for more.
And it's because it's connected with the animal. So like to their 99, they're gonna remember, letter A has 2 sounds.
Yes.
You just can't forget it.
Yeah.
So that's great. Now, what about for you? What kind of impact has live studios had with you?
So for me, it's made life so easy because I can go it's not just the language and literacy part though for me. I have so many standards to bring into every lesson that I do. And so when we start this, we're getting science, we're getting the language, the literacy, the phonological awareness, all in one, even math. Like we actually attach the math standards to it. So it's laid out before me. I can actually go on there in the spur of a moment and say, we're going to do the next lesson, even though I was planning on doing it tomorrow. And it's there, it's ready to go. The stories, the kids love it. They know that Ms. Jackson's going to be reading a story about the animal that we met. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, and
it's
there's a social, emotional component to all the 26 stories that we've added.
Every domain I can tack on standards-wise to the letters and the animals.
Yeah, that's so awesome. We have a lot of teachers. We wanted it to be so easy for you guys because you're so overwhelmed. You want to try to figure out lesson plans. And I guess my last question is, teaching for a long time, tell us the comparison, the results years before and now this year.
Just in 3 letters, I can say that my kids, which I did do a free kind of thing to see what they knew. I can't even compare what it's been. I feel like I've been pulling all year long to try to get something to stay in their brains and mean something to them. But the animals and the actions, the sounds, like it's short and sweet and doable for every single age and every single developmental stage that they're at. So that's the difference. I can't think of a year where I've ever had kids that letters in October meant something to them.
Yeah, that they're knowing their letters and sounds.
It's usually like April whenever it's really starting to stick, and I'm saying, asking questions and they know them.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, thanks so much for sharing your stories.
Thank you.
I love hearing it.
Thank you.
So, she came by our booth and was so excited. I love hearing these stories that I said, do you mind if we just impromptu just capture your story? And she allowed us to do that. And so I love hearing it. And you notice she's also is using journals. I'm not going to have time to show you the video because I want to honor our time being done at, having a 45-minute webinar. But these are our Letters Alive student journals, great for small group or home engagement, family engagement that she was using. And Adam, he has a video. It's actually on our website, so you can watch it. But Adam was a kindergarten teacher, and it just shows how he uses it with his kids. Another engaging way to learn letters and sounds and early writing with a free app that we offer. So sorry, Adam can't hear, we don't have time for him. Math, I'm going to have to skip to, again, because I want to have time to show you the rugs and do the giveaway. But again, it's all on our website. And our math journals is all about feeding the animals, feeding them not enough or just right, and learning your shapes. Again, it's all on our website.
We're good.
But I want to kind of end with Rugs Alive. This is, again, Greg's class. Greg has Classrooms Alive. He has everything, even our zoo cart. And he captured this for us. I love it. This is what we're going to be giving away, except it's going to be the rectangle, a 6 by 9 foot rectangle rug that we're going to give away for some lucky person for their classroom. But let's listen to watch his kids with our rugs coming alive.
ABC Boot Camp, every day we learn the letter, the sound, and who did we meet? The animals. And where can you see the animals right now?
On the carpet.
They are on the carpet. Now, what if I told you that we can make the animals in the carpet come to life in our classroom? What do you think? And where does the elephant live?
In the jungle.
All right, so we're going to put the elephant with the jungle, because where do elephants live?
Jungle.
All right, then we're gonna scan it and we're gonna see Edie Elephant. Are you ready? Remember, stay still so I can show you Edie.
You can find elephants in jungles.
So I love watching that, and it's bringing that novelty into the classroom. And you know, if one thing we can really stress today is using multiple modalities. I mean, this week you can immediately start incorporating this into your school or to your classroom. I'm like, the more modalities, the merrier. And you see how we've tried to incorporate in what we do. I would love to hear from you guys. My email's there. Any feedback? If you want to learn more, just let me know. And of course, there's our web address, livestudiozoo.com. I really appreciate you guys joining us today.